Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all my witches, warlocks, writers, and wanderers. I am KibbyRose. I am Authortubes, lesbian psychic stoner, and I am here to be productive while throwing in some witchy things and some opinions and doing some productive sprints. So I have something we're going to pull up because the effect of the wildfires and the stuff that people are going through in California, wow, it's been really messing up my energies and vibrations. So I thought I'd start the night off with the card pull, but let me run the opener so we can get this going, and I'll explain this a little bit more. Okay, so I'm off for multiple reasons. Number one, the amount of people that have any psychic who is sensitive like me is going to feel, if you don't have, like, I've had my feelers open because I have friends and family that live down there. However, if you're smart, you've been putting up a wall because the amount of hurt and pain and sadness that's just emanating from California is extremely strong. Also, literally 10 minutes before my sprint, I still believe it was a scammer because there was so many red flags that I was alerted to, thanks to Cora and her scammer channel, that pretty much 10 minutes before our sprint, I saved my mom from what I believed was getting scammed and information stolen and whatnot. And they were using an excuse of some federal incentive that they were connected to the electric company, and they're not. And so I'm just really happy that, because my heart was beating out of my chest, and I know I sounded angry or intense, and my mom didn't get upset with me. She listened and she called the electrical company, and I'm so grateful that I was able to try to communicate the way I felt about the situation, because I had already turned them away. The thing is they had already come to the door. I usually wait a minute before I get the front door because I don't have visitors. That's my thing. I don't have people visit here. So I figured it was somebody for my mom, if anything. Well, she didn't go to the door. So I figured, okay. So I went and answered it. Well, as soon as I walked up to the door, I was like, something's telling me there's a reason why nobody's answering the door. Like, we should just let them go. But I answered the door anyway, opened the door. The way the gentleman, just the way he came off to me the original time, I was like, something's off about this. Like, I feel like this man is not going to be truthful to me. And he stumbled over every other word as he was talking to me. And I was just kind of like looking at him kind of sideways. And he was just like, well, are you the owner? And I said, no. And I said, and obviously they're not available because they didn't come to the door. And he went, oh, okay, thank you, and left. Well, I'm sitting downstairs prepping for my stream, and I guess my mom was curious about who came to the door. I think she felt the same energy I felt, and instead of maybe ignoring it, I think her mama bear came out and she pursued it, and she ended up opening the door and pretty much calling them over. And I was like, no, oh my gosh, no. And then he starts going on with his spiel, and thanks to Cora, every red flag that I know about scammers came into play. And there was a point when I literally just said, he's trying to sell you something, like, close the door, I already sent him away. So, but I'm telling you, there was something off about it, because he needed to go. He was saying he was connected to the electrical company. However, he had no idea what meter was on our house. So my mom, being the innocent woman that she is, and allowed him to go walking around our house. And as soon as he started walking around our house, my street instincts kicked in, and I was like, he is casing our house. He is literally casing our house. And I am glad that I have every curtain downstairs closed, because I feel like he's trying to figure out which houses to rob. Like, that was my instinct. And it's so wrong that maybe that was my initial instinct. However, I'm very protective. I'm a very protective person, both my friends and my family. And there was just something off about it. Everything about every red flag regarding his spiel, and him not knowing, he happened to be connected with the electric company, but he didn't know the usage, our average usage on our house. He didn't know if we qualified. He didn't know what meter we had. He was going to need to see a snapshot of my mother's. But I was like, this is every red flag that they tell you to not, like, pay attention to these red flags, because this means it's a scammer. So I'm intense. It's been an interesting day. It's been an interesting week. And I did a lot of meditating on the California wildfires. And I wanted to say this, and I was going to save this for later, but I'm just going to bring this in because for anybody who's listening that lives in California, I have been getting message after message from my angels about what is going on in California. And my angels are like, okay, yeah, fires. And I'm like, well, what's going to happen with the fires? And they're like, we're moving on with the fires because here's what's coming. In February, they're showing me atmospheric flood. The next full moon, the February full moon, they're showing me that California is going to get massive rainstorms. There's going to be mudslides, everything. And then they show me that in March, there's going to be earthquakes. And they're referencing that in May or by April, the ground is going to be so unstable that even if they wanted to rebuild, they might not be able to rebuild. And then they show me that by April or by May, the end of Hollywood. And it's literally January fires, February floods, March earthquake, April unstable, May end of Hollywood. And I don't know if that's right or not, because you all know, if you know me, I'm 70-30 when it comes to this kind of stuff. However, I did warn already about these fires in my last live stream. And I referenced that my angels kept saying that if you're not prepared for what is coming in the beginning of these 3 months for this year in San Diego and LA and the West Coast especially, you're not going to survive by the end of this year if you don't know survival skills. So I'm warning all of you now that are all my followers, all my friends, all my clients that are on the West Coast. Please listen to me. This is not the end of it. I wish it was. I wanted to get that one out first because I think that is the most important prediction that I had come. And it's still, my angels are, truthfully, every time I meditate, like when I tap into it, the angels are like, please just get out of California if you can. And no, if you're wondering if the government is going to be able to help, they're referencing that there is a lot of struggle in regards to government help because the money's not there. And the cost to rebuild that stuff that was there, yeah, it's going to be a lot. So I'm going to do a quick card pull. I have some people coming in that I don't even know that I have. Hello. Good evening. Good evening to you, Geoff. And Alicia, hello. I have EQ. Okay. Whatever that means. So I'm going to do a quick card pull, but how we usually work things here, now that I did my little rant and spiel, I'm going to set my little timer here so I have my talking timer. Oh, you have sound on you. You are not supposed to have sound, so we're going to mute that. We're professionals. This is the way it works around here. So hello, Cora. Hello, my dear. Hello. Hello, my dear. So just for a quick rundown of how we do things here, I am both a writer and an active practitioner. So I use these sprints to try to get work done along with sending out messages to my clients that are somewhat too busy to be able to sit down and have readings and stuff with me. I also do this to vent about current events and get stuff off my chest. So we intermingle these little rants with 20-minute sprints or 25-minute sprints, correction. And today we're going to be covering a couple different things. First, I have the tarot cards. Second of all, just forgive me, guys. My energy is so off because of everything that's been going on. Third of all, I have some fun information regarding this little pile back here. And fourth, I have our horoscopes for this weekend to get you set up so that maybe you can handle what's coming this weekend a little bit easier and a little bit better. Okay, so, and for some of our side, the good news is I'm going to just say this too. The good news is in regards to this weekend, guys, for anybody that lives in California as well, we have Venus's energy and Saturn's energy really coming in strong with some soothing, calming, intriguing, creative, imaginative, and rebuilding type energies. Literally, Uranus is in Taurus and Saturn is in Pisces, which means that both of the larger planets are in a regrowth and rebuilding time period. And this is going to cause a good amount of influence into things that are going on. So I'm going to do a card pull real quick because I just wanted to get a feel. Well, this is something I used to do, my old streams. Again, going over and listening to past live streams. This was something that I used to do every live stream beforehand to get a feel not only for the live stream, but universal energies. So what I do when I shuffle the cards is pretty much I extend myself beyond this planet. I wrap my arms around this planet and I say, okay, cards, tell me, what is this earth feeling at this current time? So this is more of a worldly energy overview of what is going on this planet. And we've got the Queen of Coins. And I would agree with that, considering the happiness that's going off in Hamas and Giza with the ceasefire, the Ukrainian and Russian war that's starting to slow down, and the heart and felt that's going on in like. I would definitely have to say that the Queen of Coins is definitely the heartfelt energy and emotion that is going on in this planet right now. So the good news is that is a positive card. It shows positive energies, which is what we kind of need right now on this planet. So if you're going through a negative time in that, just know, tap into Mother Earth right now, because you're going to get some good vibes from her. So on to the next thing real quick is I have been talking about to some, and this is especially for my clients out there. Okay. This is something I've been talking to a lot of you about for quite some time. And I finally been able to do it. So I have been talking about curating spell kits for my clients in order to be able to not only send them out, but have you guys have my more advanced students start being able to instruct themselves and learn a little bit more. So I kind of copied off of WitchCasket a little bit, where I was able to get the bigger envelopes, the smaller envelopes. And this is just one example of a spell card. I have multiple different kinds of spell cards that I'm going to be using for depending on your spell. And then I was able to get, and this is one of my favorite things, I got these little bottles that will be included. So you'll be able to put your herbs and your spells into the actual bottles. I got an entire box of candles, so I will be able to supply the candles, and I have just a small sample of them right here, but I was able to get an entire box of stones that will also be included in the spell kits. So for all my clients that have been wondering when these were going to be available, because yes, I know I was talking about them for a long time, I have a lot of stuff in the works. Okay. So this is one thing that I was able to actually get purchased back stock of. I've already started building up and creating the actual spell, the spell kits. I'm waiting on the herbs. I just lost that cork. No, it's right there. Okay. I'm waiting on the herbs to, actually, no, I'm not. I have all the herbs now too. So I will be putting out a request to all my clients to put in your orders for your spell kits. They're going to be $5 to $10 depending on the intensity of the spell that you want. I'm going to make pre-made kits as well. So for those of you that are interested, that is something that's coming in the future, connected with the announcement that's coming on February 3rd. But for the rest of you that are already my clients, just know I will be reaching out to you to put in your orders, because you'll be able to get first hands, first dibs, and everything else. And if it goes well, that is something that I'm going to continue doing. So on that note, I think we're going to jump into our first 10-minute sprint to start, and then hopefully we can do 2 or 3 20-minute sprints. However, we'll see how we go, because my energy, because of that whole situation with the scammer that happened right before I live streamed and everything else, my energy is off. So I'm going to hopefully be able to use this 10 minutes to get my head back on track on what and everything else I need to do. I'm going to tap into Mother Nature. For those who came for horoscopes and my clients that are horoscopes, I will do that second for you. After this 10-minute sprint, I will do horoscopes for you. That's how I planned on laying it out, so we can get those out of the way. And for the rest of you, I'm going to pull up our new layout with our new timer. And I'm doing this new layout because look, you can actually see the comments now. So 10 minutes on the clock. We're going to unmute this. We're going to keep this here. And I will see you guys. Use this 10 minutes to get prepped for everything for the sprint, for the next 25 minutes that you need to do, or, whatever you need to do. Just get ready for this yeah. Can you tell I'm all over the place? Wow. I'm I'm gonna use this 10 minutes to try to get my head straight. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, and All right, that's the end of that sprint. So we're going to go like this. We're going to pause. All right, so just for anybody who's popping in, I'm going to say hi to Laura. Hello, Laura. How are you? I haven't seen you in a long time. It's good to see you. And she's just popping in saying hi to Cora and Gior. Or, wow, my head. Gorf the North. I'm like, why am I trying to say Jeffrey and Gorf at the same time? My blah, 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 blah. So humana, and humana. And for all of the rest of you, blah, blah, blahs. Anyway, so three things I wanted to brag about before I go into horoscopes for my clients is number one, I showed off this dress for my birthday that I got it at Walmart. So I just wanted to show it off on me. Ta-da, lovely. Stripes all the way down to the bottom. I can say it is absolutely as warm and comfortable, and I honestly, I just feel like I'm wrapped in a comfy sweater blanket. And yeah, I have no complaints about it considering it was only $20. The next thing I wanted to show off is, so because I live in the Pacific Northwest, and this Arctic cold blast is the driest, coldest air that I think I've ever experienced in my life. I had to find a new lip balm because my lips were chapping to no avail. And I found this really amazing lip balm called Sasquatch Lip Balm. And I'm just going to put it on because honestly, first of all, look at the size of the applicator. It is absolutely huge. And I forget what's in here, but they have shea butter and aloe vera. And those are two things that my lips absolutely adore, like just love. And so if you've never seen it and you've never tried it, first of all, I love it because it's Sasquatch. Come on, it's Bigfoot. I love that. And second of all, I've never seen a chapstick that has as big of a top as a lipstick. And third of all, it really is really good on my lips. I bought it for the aesthetic and the look and because it was Sasquatch, and I'm completely satisfied with the product that's inside. It was one of those things. Second of all, this is for all of you, all of my friends that get the WitchCasket box, okay? I'm sending out a warning. Be very careful. When it comes to the tear holder, mine literally shattered. I did my full moon ritual yesterday for the quickening moon to rid all negativity for all of my friends and everything else and replace it with, yeah. Oh God. Sorry, Cora, your comments just distracted me. Next week, it's supposed to be in the negatives here. I know. Oh, this Arctic cold blast is horrible. And I just had to edit through one more time and then check the sound, and then it will be done. Very nice. Yes. And that's amazing that I have a feeling you've been working on your book all day or on your videos all day. But so, yeah, I just want to warn all of you to please be careful because mine literally shattered in my hands. And it broke into two separate pieces, and it seems to just be where the connector piece is. Now, I'm going to throw this part away, but I'm going to keep this part because I like to reuse things. So for all of you out there, all my clients that also get the box, please just be careful that you don't absolutely cut yourself. And it was very easy to break. And it was extremely easy to break. I was delicate because I figured I needed to be delicate with it. So just be careful. Just dealing with the kids all day. But then wait, what are you editing kids then? You just have to edit one more kid and then check their sound and then what's done? I'd like to know in context, you meant this statement for your children. I'm in a mood. I'm sorry, Cora. So for all of you that came for horoscopes, we're going to get into it. For those of you that came for the sprints and the books, I'm sorry. Please bear with me. I know a lot of you come for the sprints. I will be switching once I start streaming my regular schedule again. because exciting news coming in February, giant announcement. You're going to want to be keeping in tabs on it. So until then, I'm only streaming 1 day a week. And for my clients, some of them were complaining that they're like, why do I have to skip through the whole thing just to hear my horoscope? So for some of my older clients, I'm doing this for you because I love you. For the rest of you, I'm sorry, bear with me. Once I get back to my streaming schedule, it will be at the end because I'll be able to post it in a different place and my clients will have easier access to it and they won't have to search through the live streams and everything else. So all I'm going to say, guys, is from what I meditated on, I'm just going to tell all of you, okay? This week is not going to end the way it started, okay? For those of you that had a good week, yes, it is going to end that way. For those of you that started out as a horrible week, because a lot of the signs had a very horrible week to start out. This Venus is coming into Pisces on February, like this weekend. The influence of Pisces, strike that. Reverse it. The influence of Venus moving into Pisces is going to cause more of a loving effect. And Mars is going to start shifting out of or Mercury and Mars are starting to shift out of retrograde. So we're going to start kind of having a relief and a reprieve of energies. And the shift we get a little peek of it this weekend. So for those of you that don't know, for those of you that already know, go ahead and zone out for a second. For those of you who don't know, I give you kind of a weekly overview of the energies with the planets first. Then I go from Aries to Scorpio. I skip Scorpio in the middle and I put it at the end simply because I am a Scorpio and my angels like to come in and start giving me messages. And it's just easier to have them at the end so that if they need to give me messages, we can jump into a sprint and I don't get distracted giving you guys what you need to hear. Okay. So to start it off, we had a full moon Monday. The energies are lasting kind of into this weekend. It is a quickening type moon. It's also known as the quickening moon or the Candlemas moon. It's a good time to release and replace. For all of my clients, just know I did do a full moon spell to release all the negative energy that's been attached to us from last year and replace it with an abundance of happiness, wealth, and creativity. So just know that a lot of my clients, especially you, Cora, because you're one of my regulars, just know that that's behind your back now. So if you need to dip into it, use it. Okay, then we have Sun in Capricorn, which again is the natural inclination. We are going to start shifting into an Aquarius Sun. Okay, so Aquarius Capricorn influence is going to start coming in, or we kind of bounce between the two. Example this weekend also with Venus's influence. Okay, Mercury is also in Capricorn, which is why things have felt so grounded, but also up in the air lately. So that's going to bring in that's where that methodical, good concentration and conservation and sense of purpose comes from. Mars is in retrograde until the 23rd. So February 23rd is when it's going to start shifting out of retrograde, but we're already at the tail end of its retrograde period. So it's going to start relinquishing energies a little bit, but we do move into it's going to sit in Cancer, which is a very emotional energy until April 18th. Now, to explain Mars in Cancer for you, take your roughest, toughest, big football hard guy that's construction for years and give him the emotions of the girly soft teddy bear from high school. And that is the kind of energy you're dealing with Mars, okay? It's that going after energies. It's like that going after what we want, but an unsatisfying emotional undertone, okay? With Venus in Pisces until the February 4th is that tender affection. She comes in strong this weekend because she moves direct with us, okay? Jupiter is in Gemini, which expands our experiences. Saturn is in Pisces, frustrations, achieving practical goals. That's what that underlying, God, why does everything have to be so irritating energy comes from? And then Uranus is in Taurus still, which basically allowing us to learn new approaches to things, okay? I go over this because each sign, when I go over the signs, you can see how these planets actually influence each sign, because depending on where the planet is in a sign and where your sign is located, that's how all of this works together, okay? Aries, you've had very intense, aggressive, and displaced energies literally ruling the entire start of this week, okay? The sun has been in opposition with your sign, which is why you've had a lot of unstable emotional energies, especially in the home life, okay? So and this continues today and into tomorrow, so be careful with any anger or anger, resentment, aggression, or irritation that can come into play. If you're having hard and difficult conversations in the home right now, Aries, leave them be until the weekend. You're going to have better energies this weekend with Venus for you to have those conversations, okay? Into Thursday, be cautious of miscommunication and misinformation energies with also skewed perspectives, especially when it comes into business and money. Right now, there are some signs that are not seeing the whole picture simply because they are unable to get out of their own zones to do so. If you have a Libra in your area, or anywhere in your working field, this is going to affect a lot of things for you. Libras and Aquariuses are kind of unstable at this time, so they're not going to be the best when it comes to making decisions, okay? Into the weekend comes some very sensitive yet satisfying energies, and on Friday, especially on Friday, these are going to come into a height. It's going to bring into attention those details for the long-term goals again, okay? So if you were one of the Aries that used the first week of this month to kind of reassess how we're going to plan the rest of the year, this week is bringing in the energies to kind of nitpick and fine-tune those details, okay? They're referencing that this is going to have an underlying pull of energies with the dreams and business making. So if you have those fanciful ideas that you want to put in place in regards to business, Aries, this might be the time to kind of figure out and fine tune those plans and those details and what you have to do in order to do so. Especially any of you that have recently shifted directions in their field of work or have taken on a whole new attitude in regards to what we're going to have to do moving forward. Okay. Continue to use this time to get creative in any areas that need to be fine-tuned. Usually Aries can't get creative when it comes to problem solving. Aries, you have a lot of good energy with Venus and Saturn and Jupiter to bring in a lot of that creative underlying, come up with new perspectives, new ideas, new ways to attack things. Okay. Use it to your advantage this weekend. Next, we got Taurus. Okay. You've had a lot of impatient, irritating, sluggish type energies to start off this week. Okay. This is going to continue into today and into tomorrow. Be aware that these can actually cause you to become a little bit defensive, a little bit disagreeable, and overall just testy in nature. Make sure that you're not overreacting to small situations. Tauruses, kind of make sure that you're keeping your temper in check. You're allowed to have your emotions, but sometimes overreacting about the situation and putting it on other people it's not fair. So they're referencing that it's okay to hide away if you need to, and it's okay to self-soothe. The day does set when the sun sets. Okay. So if you need a hideaway, like one of my friends that's a Taurus, she has a 32-hour rule. If you have that kind of rule and you're having that kind of a day, enact it. Is basically what they're saying, because difficulties in overall communications do continue on Thursday. Okay. With more lazy, hazy type mentality with difficult motivation. Tauruses, this is just not a good time for you to try to go home and get things done. All right. The energy just isn't there for you. If you feel like you're slugging through mud, you literally are in energy wise. Okay. So just stop trying to pull your horse like never ending story. It's time to maybe just kind of try to keep your head above the water and self-soothe. Okay. They're referencing that because this weekend brings in good energies for you, Taurus, you're going to have a hard time curbing your appetite in regards to entertainment and excitement. So you want to be careful. I am a Taurus and have been having such a sluggish month so far. And that's because the energies just haven't been on your side right now. It's because of where the planets are literally like in placement to the Taurus sign. And we have an amazing planetary alignment. It's just kind of working against Tauruses right now. So, but the good news is this weekend, you're going to have a lot of those creative, intuitive energies come in, and you're going to be able to have that inspirational kick that you've kind of been looking for. So keep in, if you plan for doing work on Saturdays, even though it's kind of like one of those things like, really, I'm going to do work on Saturdays. But if you have book work, Laura, to do, and you can't get it done, hold off. Go do other things for now and waiting for this weekend, because on Saturday, you're going to get an inspirational kick with Venus kind of changing position. Okay. Use this weekend to solve any problems that arise earlier this weekend, and keep up with the to-do list that you may have lost track of. So it's literally saying, yeah, Saturday and Sunday, you're going to have way better energies for you to be able to get things done. So right now, don't try to push yourself, because there's no point in pushing yourself. Take your break, go do something else. You'll have the inspiration this weekend. Oh, yeah, it's going to be, and you're fine. And your angels are kind of referencing, Laura, this is just for you. Your angels are kind of referencing that you have been doing so well in getting things done lately that you kind of need to take a little bit of time and pat yourself on the back. And Tauruses tend to do this. You guys tend to put your head down and put your horns forward and just bore through things. And you forget to look back on what you've done and see how big of a trail you've blazed. Does that make sense? So yeah, I've been self-soothing with just reading a tons. Yep. And not even attempting to write. And here's the thing is, you've got to remember is you may not feel like you're doing the work, but reading all those books, your subconscious is manufacturing and filing away information so that later when you get that creative kick, that's where it's going to come from. It's going to pull from all those resources, and you're going to be like, wow, where did that come from? And it's going to be that one sentence that was in that one book that your brain went, ooh, that's a good one, and filed it away. So yeah. And so, yeah, and to use this time not only to self-distract, but actually look back on this year. Give yourself a little bit of a handshake for the accomplishments, because your angels are referencing that you worked your butt off last year. I know another Taurus that's like this. You worked your butt off. Like you and Sako and then Nick the chick are kind of the same in this, where you guys need to look back, because 2024 was a very big year for Tauruses. You got a lot done. You got a lot achieved. And just because you're not pushing that much forward at the beginning of this year doesn't mean that momentum's not going to pick up for the rest of the year. Okay. And you're just going to get that because Miss Nettles, listening back on some of my old live streams from back in 2001, you have been with me from the beginning, girl. So since you've been subbed for like 4 years, that is why you just got a free reading. Congratulations. There's your Christmas gift. How about that? Okay. So for Geminis, you're going to, the Geminis were continuing to bounce for now. Woo! You're welcome, girl. You're very welcome. There's this for Geminis. You guys have been doing that Gemini thing, that internal war for this last beginning of the week. And I don't blame you. It's been the type of energies where you're going to be bouncing back and forth. If you have any type of Gemini in your chart, we've already been discussing this. You're going to be kind of bouncing between all these different energies. Okay. They're referencing that, especially in the money and possession sector. And this is hard for me because I know a lot of Geminis that are in, get through this without getting emotional, please. Okay. I know a lot of Geminis that are in the professional industry world. Geminis tend to be very good at acting and doing that kind of craft because they're able to do multiple. Obviously, they're able to bounce between twins and personalities. This is hard for me, especially because literally it's referencing internal war, struggle with this type of energy ever since the beginning of the year. And especially with Mars, it's kind of like if the industry feels like it's being attacked, that's because Mars has been on the warpath for Geminis, literally since the beginning of the year. They're referencing that for Geminis, the only thing that comes in for you this weekend is basically let patience be the strategy. Try not to push matters into submission. Stay idea-oriented and focus-driven and and focus driven, because those type of energies come into play on Wednesday, especially into the afternoon on Thursdays. And that is going to be a central focus of home, family, and emotions. Okay. The universe seems to be testing your patience in all areas. Don't let it win is basically the mantra the angels were referencing. Self-soothe and personal time is the best way to take care of yourself. And the good news is those dreamy, inspirational energies that Geminis usually rely on to be able to escape the reality of the world do come into play on Friday and continue into the weekend with forgiving and accepting energies, especially in the reality terms of anything difficult. So and that comes in onto Saturday, and into Sunday, domestic and personal matters will take center stage. So use this time to ground all areas and plans that are still up in the air. And this is hard for me because I know so many Geminis that are in the industry, and this just lines up with a lot of them that are dealing with the fires and the damage that's been done. So just know, Geminis, it's going to the rest of this month, the planets do not line up well for you. It's going to be a tough month. Okay. So don't be scared, be prepared, hope for the best, plan for the worst, keep your mind in the middle. Get that self-soothing kit with all the, with the smelly goods and the putty and everything. If you don't know DBT skills, one of the DBT skills they teach you is to literally make a kit. That's an emergency kit where you cover all 5 senses with lotions, smelly goods, lip glosses, so that when you're stressing out, you can grab it and you'll have everything at your disposal. So Geminis, have that kit ready for this year. Okay. And if you need to update it, update it. Cancers. So I'm just laughing because they're like power struggles and difficulty keeping the emotions in check. Well, yeah, you're Cancers. Like, I don't know. Like, that's one of those things where I must have been auto typing, because now I'm reading it and I'm like, well, I wouldn't have put that down in the first place because they're Cancers. Of course, they're emotional. That's what Cancers are. Anyway, they're referencing that we are overly emotional because restless, blocked, and confusing energies have been the highlight of this week. Navigating anything for it to make sense has just been like, to go straight, you've had to go backwards. To go right, you've had to go left. Like, nothing makes sense for Cancers right now. It's not you. It's the energies of the world. Well, it's a little bit Cancers. You tend to be a little bit more sensitive and emotional, but it's not all you this time. Okay. Time for observations and planning, not actions. That is why Cancers, if you are that action-oriented type Cancers, that is why anything you're doing right now isn't working. It's Murphy's Law. It's give a mouse a cookie. Don't try to. Basically, I know some Cancers don't like to throw up their hands and say no, but you're going to have to right now. It's kind of like Tauruses, where the energies just aren't on your side to get things done. Okay. Insensitive and overthinking type energies come into play on Thursdays. So you're going to need to be careful, because basically what they're showing is you've been bombarded with such energy, such horrible energy at the start of this week, Cancers. You're going to be sensitive going into the weekend. And especially with Venus pulling her stuff, it causes you to be even extra sensitive. So they're referencing that disconnecting type energies, especially with a unique alignment, might come into a play this weekend. Use it to your advantage. If you feel like you need to hide away from the world, hide away from the world. Interesting yet connecting type energies do come into play on Saturday into Sunday with a pull for learning and communication. They're referencing that this weekend is more of a reminder to slow down, to speed up. Do your best to find the positive in order to change your mindset from the negative that might be going on around you. Okay. Not everything in every situation is negative. Even on a rainy day, you can still have fun in the puddles. Okay. So it's going to be one of those type of weekends, Cancer, where you're going to have to look for the silver lining in things. Leos, frustrating, intense, restless energies with a sluggish undertone, which is causing major mental confusion for you, because Leos, you're usually the type, when you go to get it done, you got to go and get it done. However, you're totally in the mindset to get it done. Physically, you're like, oh, Okay, you have the physical that's dealing with with Tauruses that's also affecting Cancers, but Leos, your fire sign is fighting it. So just know that channeling these energies into constructive projects that are going that best mitigate your to best mitigate your impatience. Okay. Hold on. Somebody might be watching that's a Leo, and I'm wondering if it's my client because my angels are like, we have so much stuff that we need to say right now. Well, let me finish what I need to finish, and then we'll go from there. Focus on what you can do and not what you can't. Leave whatever you need. Like if you're trying to mend a situation, you know you can fix it, but it's not working right now. Leave it to later. The anchor lands energies land onto a focal point of home and determination and goal-oriented, especially when it comes to routines around the home. So why is this? Okay. Why are we all confuddled and fuffled on this? Because this is we're gonna do this a different way because I have no idea what happened with my notes there. They are all misused, misconfuddled, I have no idea. So we're gonna do this way. Okay. Okay, so they're referencing that you're going to need to try to have a little bit of fun this weekend because you're going to have a lot of strong and steady energies come in, but they're going to be applied more to the home and personal. Trying to get any business done for Leos is not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to focus on the details enough to actually be able to get the details done. When it comes to business for Leos, you're going to want to be able to focus on just getting that to-do list done. Look at the overall picture, see where the holes are, get that to-do list come. When it comes to the home, this is where the energies are going to come into play for you better this weekend so that you are able to mend any problems that need to be mended. Those difficult conversations, they're referencing that don't be afraid to be creative because you're going to have a lot of imaginative energy come in with the problem solving and goal oriented side. So the difficult conversations, if you need to have them, leave until Saturday evening into Sundays. Okay, Leos, that is yours. I had to do that a little bit different way because I don't know what the heck happened when I was meditating for my notes, but they went all awry and cockeyed. Virgos. Okay, so buried anger, resentment, frustration, ego-driven energies have been boiling to the surface lately. Cora. This one's for you, girl. Overwhelming frustration with restless type energies continue into Wednesdays with an underlying social tension. Basically, you're getting suffocated within the home. Cora, if you have, like, this is one of those things where if you're a Virgo and you're a stay-at-home mom, they're referencing that they're like, you need to turn around and ask yourself when the last time you've had a you day. When is the last time you went out and got coffee and shopped for yourself and actually had a you day? If it's been a while, we need to plan one. Okay. Focus more on what is needed rather than what is wanted, because right now, yeah. I know I just said that. Do that on Saturday, Sunday. I'm talking about Wednesday, Thursday right now. Okay. Emotionally energized energies come into play on Thursday, increasing your need to be social. Strong adulting and conversational type energies continue through the weekend with an underlying creativeness and good decision-making energies. Venus's influence is even stronger for you this weekend with good. So the communication and connection type energies is really, really, really strong. Oh, you had a me day? Okay. Okay. Nice. Inspiring, idealistic, and romantic with an underlying fanciful ideas you're gonna get pulled into you're gonna want to feast on social drama this weekend, and instead of creating your own, I would suggest just lining up all the T-spill channels and just going over the current news gossip to get your fill, basically, because they're referencing to use this to be a positive influence like a comedian, and avoid the negative influences like the Karens to keep your energies balanced. So you're going to be kind of looking for a fight this weekend, Virgos. So in order to Virgos. So in order to keep your peace, kind of find how you can get your drama fix somewhere else. Okay. We don't need any Virgo mamas going to jail. Okay. please, because yeah, there's one thing to be social and be like, ooh, those two are fighting, look at that at the restaurant, versus creating your own chaos because you want to have that social drama. All right, Libras, challenging. Okay, so Libras, take a deep breath. This is going to be hard to hear. Okay, challenging and frustrating type energies will start off the weekend with an underlying overall imbalance, especially with an inability to obtain a fixated mindset on either personal or business-oriented projects, okay? You can't, basically, Libras, they're referencing that you can't think straight right now, so don't even bother trying. Okay? This is going to lead to very impatient and misunderstanding type energies that bleed into Thursday and early into Friday. However, you're going to get a break this weekend with restful, introspective type energies as the weekend starts. However, there's an underlying need for retrospection, which is going to and can cause severe anxiety, especially in the Libras when you start picking yourself apart. Libras, this is one of those times when you don't need to use this time to nitpick on yourself, but maybe investigate the areas that we need to address and try to fix during the rest of the year. Okay, taking some time for emotional self-care, self-soothing would be best. Retreat to your safe space when you need to. A pause or slowdown is coming for the start of the week, for the end of the weekend, with strong underlying intuitive type energies. This is a good time for problem solving and communications, especially with yourself. Creative, imaginative, and artistic energies as well. This will allow you to grow, contribute, and improve to your personal life for best results. Okay. Basically, you're going to have a lot of energy that's going to cause you to focus on problem solving, especially in a creative way with communications, but solely on your personal. And that's where you're going to want to improve. For Sagittarius is matters of controlling possessive type energies come up, especially in the money and decluttering departments. Okay, parsing through what you need and what you don't need has kind of been the play for the whole beginning of the week. They're highlighting referencing that you've also been using this time to maybe highlight areas where you can do better money making decisions. They're referencing that as we go into the weekend, you're going to have to start battling your ego with distracting, obscuring, and destructive type energies that are going to underlie with an emotional pull through into the mental side. Basically, you're going to be fighting your own ego, Sagittarius is this weekend, okay? Make sure that you do scattered and sporadic energies. Fill the morning on Thursday with frustrating energies in communication and decision-making. You're going to drive yourself crazy. Sagittarius is, just be aware. You're going to drive yourself crazy if you have a lot of decisions to make. It's best that any decisions you need to make, you leave until Monday. It's kind of like, if you can, walk out of the office on Friday at lunch. It's that type of energy where you're like, Friday at noon, I'm done with the decision making because it's just not going to be on my side after that. They're referencing to that you're going to want to resort to your natural talents and your natural resources for best results. Introspective yet restful type energies come in on Saturday with strong underlying communication type energies. If you are a girly girl, do a sleepover party. Secure, comfortable, yet interesting energies play into the weekend. It is a good time to go with the flow, keep your eye on your most important goals, and be social with those that you know you can be safe with, okay? Or your energy can be safe with. Capricorns, disgruntled energies, especially in the relationship department or personal departments, continue into Wednesday. They're referencing that you've got to remember that to focus on what's in front of you. Focusing on the past only leads you to walk backwards into your future. Okay? Nobody gets anywhere walking backwards except for really talented people. Most of the time, you're going to stumble backwards because you don't see what you're going through. Don't be that type of Capricorn right now. Passive aggressive and confusing energies do come into play on Friday evening, especially with distracting and unfocused focused energies with an underlying difficulty in communications. Kind of like Sagittarius's Capricorns. If you can call it quit on Fridays at lunch and go home, call it quits and go home. Okay. They're referencing that staggered energies in the communication department continue into the weekend. So make sure that you focus more on the moment and not the goal ahead. Observing and reflecting with intuitive type energies do come in on Saturday and into Sunday with a strong gravitation towards personal projects and completing that to-do list. So just know if there's nothing you were able to get done this weekend, Capricorns, because it's just been frustrating and scattered, you're going to be able to get it done this weekend. If you are one of those that can go into the office on the weekends and do work, I highly recommend it if you're a Capricorn. Focus on things you can control, not on the things you can't. Positive, strong, and attractive energies do come in at the end of the weekend with a slight slowdown. Use this time to catch up on what you've been missing and stop making it says clicks. I meant critiques. Making critiques or refinements to all areas. Okay. Aquarius. Frustrating and dissatisfying energies, especially in the work sector, have been coming into play this week. Overwhelming and tension-filled emotions have become a burden and have been starting to cause stress. Okay, let me rephrase. No, I read that wrong. That wasn't the paper. That was me reading that wrong, because they're coming in referencing. There's some Aquariuses out here that are using this tension to their advantage by pushing forward. If you are that type of Aquarius, be aware that you might be missing fine details in what you're pushing forward on, which is why they're referencing that Aquarius has needed this frustrating and disgruntled energy to come in order to slow them down enough to pay attention to what is going on in front of them. Sensitive energies come into play to round off the night to round off the weekend, or just round off the week with an underlying need to relieve tension. Staggered energies and communications will be happening going forward with a focus on the moment rather than the goal. So it's the same thing that they're telling Capricorns. Instead of trying to figure out what is going on in the overall picture and trying to solve the problem that's at hand, make sure that you're actually enjoying the conversation with the drink with your friend. Observing and reflecting intuitive energies with a strong gravitation towards completing projects. Harmonious energies continue with a strong pull towards helping others and creating your social footprint. So basically, this is why they're coming in with the Aquariuses. You guys, from Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday, and Saturday to Sunday, literally have a different energy hit every single day. So you're going to go from frustrating and I think this is going to be the easiest way for me to break this down for Aquariuses. Okay. Wednesday, frustrating and dissatisfying. Thursday, overwhelming, tension-filled emotions. Friday, sensitive, scattered energies, especially in the communication sector. That was Friday. Saturday, observing and reflecting, intuitive type energies. Sunday, harmonious energies with imaginative and inspiration undertones. So you guys just know, Aquariuses, if you're going to try to get a hold on how you're going to feel for the next 5 days, just go with the flow. Literally just go with the flow. It's going to be the easiest way for you to handle all of this. I'm going to have to look and see if this is because of where the alignment of the planets are, and according to I need a birth chart on this. I'm going to look that up in a minute, because I got some questions on that, because that's yeah. Anyway, Pisces. I got questions. That's all I'm going to put. And I got to do some research. Disrupting energies for Pisces in the social and romantic area come into play on Wednesday, highlighting frustrations in the little things. They're referencing that ego-based mentality can overtake, especially into Thursday, with decision and problem-solving area. Be aware to be confident, not cocky. If you're a boss, this is one of those times where you don't want to chase off your employees just because you kind of know what you're doing. Even though you know what you're doing, make sure that you're approaching people in a way where you're not going to be offensive to them. They're referencing that business and goal-oriented energies come into play on Thursday with the influence of this moon. Watch for misunderstandings and miscommunications into the afternoon on Friday, and avoid jumping to conclusions to end the week. Emerging and learning type energies do start off the weekend, especially Saturday morning, with inspirations for new ideas and new opportunities. Balance seeking energy, especially in the family and social departments, comes this into play on Saturday afternoon with a very harmonious undertone, allowing you to kind of take the high road in a lot of situations, with a high energy pull towards meaningful and rewarding endeavors. Dropping the ego and allowing the river to flow around you is going to be your best tactic, Pisces. They're referencing, don't swim with the river, don't swim against the river, don't swim upriver. Just kind of try to stay in place where you are and let the river flow around you. Scorpios. Last one. And then we'll get into a 25-minute sprint, guys. Okay, last one. The reference, oh wow. Evidently, I did a personal angel note. They're referencing that it's not going to be a good couple days ahead for Scorpios. Okay, so buried desires or disagreements can come flooding into the surface on Wednesday with an underlying anger and frustration. You can find yourself arguing with your own emotions today. Try to keep your head in the middle, let your emotions happen, but don't live in them. Patience, slow down to speed up, self-soothe when frustrated, and a reminder to it's okay to walk away if you need to is going to be your motto going into Friday. Responsibilities will have a heavy weight come on Friday evening with a focus on the social sector. Be wary of jumping into conclusions with misinformation-based or emotional responses coming into the weekend. Keep expectations of yourself realistic for what you are capable of handling. Pace yourself. You don't have to complete the entire to-do list. Don't get overwhelmed and focus on the priorities. You guys, I'm reading this and I'm just now realizing that I think my angels were just coming in with messages. I'm like, this is completely different than the way I wrote all the rest of these. So, friendly, social, and creative type energies start off the weekend, and underlying dreaming and wishful energies. Yeah, I think those last like 4 points were literally. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to strike that, and I'm going to reverse it, and we're going to redo this. Okay, so. Buried desires, so we're going to restart. For Scorpios, buried desires and disagreements come flooding to the surface with underlying energies of anger and frustration to start off the weekend. Friendly, social, and creative energies come into play on Friday evening with a dreamy and wishful undertone. High connective energies, especially with spiritual goals and compassion with intuition, come into play for the week into Saturday and Sunday. With Sunday rounding off with creative, entertaining, and communication-based social energies. Diving into social events is going to be the best way to mitigate your scattered energies. That other part, and then we're going to slide into keep expectations of yourself realistic for what you're capable of handling. Pace yourself. You don't have to complete the entire to-do list. Don't get overwhelmed. Focus on the priorities. So I guess I got to start paying attention when I'm meditating on Scorpios now, because it looks like my angels have decided to just start throwing in messages for me while I'm doing the auto writing now. You know, I always say they are sneaky, or they can be when they need to be. Maybe this is also telling me that I'm going to have a rough weekend, and this was their best way of letting me know. Anyway, I did want to bring something that I am going to round this off with something I've noticed, especially in going back and listening to my lives. And I had this list somewhere else, and I just had it to here. So I just wanted to point this out. And you can tell me if this matches up with the way your life is. So I have a saying for every year since 2019. So here we go. 2019, make everyone turn inward and focus on the little details. 2020. Anything missed this year will come up as a lesson in the next 3 years. 2021. Year of reflection to make changes. 2022. Year to plan the changes. Year 2023. Year to make the changes. Year 2024. Year of refinement and plan of action. Basically, if you didn't make the changes, your angels refined their plan of action. 2025. Year of action or karmic lessons. If you haven't learned your lesson by now, you definitely will. So that is something that I have been seeing since 2019. For those that don't know, I did that. I died in 2017, crossed over to the other side. I remember my entire journey. I came back just with everything that I ever questioned or wondered since the day I was born, confirmed to me. And I started making notes in 2019 because it took me a little while to navigate this world, knowing all the stuff that I knew at that point. And ever since then, this is just what I've noticed about the world. So on that note, we're going to hop into we're going to add this one instead. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so we're going to jump into a 25-minute sprint. I am going to swap out my power cord for that, for my big screen so that I can see what the heck I'm doing. All right, so I will see you guys in 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to mute yourself. So that's the end of that sprint. I'll drop this over here. I'm going to start this one. All right. So how did we all do? Did we get work done? I definitely did. I got 1.5 pages of my notes typed up. And these notes are a little bit different. It's almost like a stenographer from a court, where like the shorthand version, and then I have to kind of write out the longer version. I also got myself a little yummy. Kind of drinking that along with coffee. Very interesting. I know. It's me. What do you want? So nobody else is in here. I have a feeling. So I saw the timer fixed or froze. I fixed the timer. I think what happened with the timer is when I uploaded the files to StreamYard, the timer folder was in a different location. And then I was like, after I uploaded, I was like, why are the timers in that location? So I inevitably moved the folder that had the timers in it that I think StreamYard fed off of. And I think that's why it froze, because it couldn't find the file. So fixed that, got it all taken care of. Thank you for letting me know. I had another timer going in the background. So I was able, that's why you guys saw me match it up. I just matched it up with the timer that because I have, you guys can't see it, but on my screen, I have 3 timers. I have one that's a 7-minute timer, so I don't talk too much. And then I have a 25-minute timer that matches with that timer. So it, just in case, and why I do it, you saw why I do it. That's exactly why I do it, because yeah, and that way it just, and it's on the timer that I use for the 25 minutes is on the screen when I work, so I can, it's right there in my mind's eye. Anyway, I'll have to explain all that behind the scenes on YouTube. That's what happens. Anyway, so editing is done. Now I have to correct convert the rewatch, but for now I have to put the kids to bed. Oh, well, thank you for coming in. I know I streamed a little bit later than normal today. I had a slight Crohn's kick this morning. It's, my stomach's still bothering me. I think it was a macaroon that I ate yesterday, and it was a creme brulee macaroon, and it was so good. But I think it not only had gluten in it, but coconut, and my kidney hurts. And I think it had coconut in it because my kidney hurts, and that happens because I'm allergic to coconut. And then yeah, I think my stomach hacked. So I've had a little bit of a day, and the macaroon was only that big, in case you were wondering. So it only takes a little bit. And then on top of that, because it's Crohn's and it's an autoimmune disease, of course, my hands swelled and my back started hurting because fibromyalgia. And anybody who knows, who deals with this stuff, and then you get tired and lethargic and you don't want to do anything. And yeah, it just becomes an evil cycle that mentally drains you. And yeah, it's hard sometimes to stay motivated. So but I appreciate you, Cora, coming in this late. So I do apologize having to stream later, but I'm actually very happy that I was able to inevitably stream at all, because normally when I have a Crohn's attack in the morning, there's no streaming in the afternoon, and I was actually able to do so. So I want to go, what do I have here? Okay, so I have some talking points that I already had mentioned before. Well, first of all, I have this, in case anybody's wondering, this is how many pages of ranting notes that I have, that I continuously check off and update depending on current events and people's videos that I watch. And then I go through and I pick out the top ones that I want to talk about. And I already talked about the current fires, but there are a couple other things that I wanted to bring up in regards to the fires. For any of those of my friends that are on the East Coast that do want to help, please be careful of where you're donating, okay? First of all, LA Fire Department has a donate site directly on their actual website. Red Cross also there have been so many frauds and scams and everything else in regards to donations for the fires. Please just do GoFundMe. If it's a GoFundMe thing, GoFundMe already came out and said they took off any GoFundMe accounts that were for California fire fundraisers. So if it's anything on GoFundMe pertaining to that, it's a scam. And also, just be aware of these political candidates as well, because I was very, very upset to find out that the mayor of California, in her little announcement brief or whatever, gave a link for you to donate. Well, when I did some investigative work, evidently that link also means that 4% of it is taken out of the donation and put directly into her pocket or her, her political fund. I was, and this is the mayor of LA County. I was just infuriated. I'm not even going to get into the whole Governor Newsom thing. The truth is I have been saying that this has been coming for years. One of the reasons that our family moved is in 2019, we saw the politics. We saw the way that California was getting destroyed. That was one of the main reasons we moved. It was so expensive for electricity in and of itself because of, and as much as people want to try to rewrite the narrative, the reason that Governor Newsom is having such a hard time trying to rewrite the narrative is because there's so many of us ex-Californians that lived there, that moved, that know exactly what happened, what policies were put in place, what laws on the state level that were passed for stupid reasons, and scooted out of there because we saw this coming. So I vote to have Jennifer Gardner as mayor. The amount of heart that woman has in literally just calling people up and saying, how can I help? And the difference in her energy when she is talking to the media and helping people versus Meghan Markle's and pretty much anybody else who's been out there in regards to, oh, please help them donate. Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio scooted out on a private jet and decided to take off to the Bahamas. The mayor herself was actually in Cancun, I think, on a little bit of vacation, even though like 2 days before she left for Cancun, they warned her about the fires and the red flag warning. So I could go on forever for a very long time ranting and raving about just how messed up the politics are in California, but I don't have to, because the truth, that's what this year is all about. And I'll repeat it again. Okay. Year of action or karmic lessons. If you didn't fix the problems the last 3 years, you will have to now. So I wasn't kidding, guys, when I was giving you guys this warning that we were going to get a major shift, because here's another thing. I don't see them being able to rebuild. And it's not because of finances. Finances are a whole nother issue. I mean, we're looking at already $150 billion to rebuild this place, guys. Yes, if you haven't been listening, I said $150 billion so far to rebuild. Okay, that's not including the fires that are still burning, because they're still burning, guys. They're only and when they say it's contained, here's another thing that I want to explain to a lot of you people that are not used to California fires. When they say the fire is contained, that does not mean the fire is out, okay? That means they have created a perimeter of either fire retardant or fire breaks, and fire breaks are 5-foot sections between brush where they're hoping the fire won't jump, okay? Contained does not mean extinguished, and a lot of people forget that. So I'm really hoping that I've been doing a lot of energy work, and it seems like we've been able to keep the winds from really going to the degree that they're predicting. However, we're not out of the woods yet. And again, my angels are referencing that even if we get through fires. Here's another thing that's going on is those people whose houses were burnt out, they can't, even if your house wasn't one of those that burned, even if your structure is still there, this fire was so hot and so damaging. Guys, they can't turn on the electricity or the water to the houses that are still standing. Like, even if your house is still there, there's no infrastructure for you to be able to have electricity or water. They're going to have to rebuild the entire city. The pump stations are gone. That's something that only one of my friends discussed with me. Is she said, I don't even know what they're going to do about the plumbing. The pump station for the Palisades is gone. It burnt up in the fire. They can't even pump water at this point to the residents in the Palisades. So there's a lot of little stuff that they haven't come to realization yet. Like these pipelines were on fire. They're going to have to rebuild the entire infrastructure of the pipeline underground for all that area. And then my angels keep coming in and saying, and they're going to have to wait until the floods and the rains that happen in mid-February to the end of February. Then they're going to have to deal with the unstable land movement and the earthquakes that are going to happen into March. And by the time I'm hearing that by the time they're able to assess the land in California, by the time they actually get in there and are able to assess the land to start rebuilding, what geologists are going to find out is the land is too unstable at this point to even be able to build on. So even if they wanted to rebuild, they might not be able to. And then I'm hearing that by May, this is going to be the end of Hollywood because, guys, a lot of these people, a lot of their homes that were burnt, their houses were also their work, their broadcasting stations. So we take a deep breath, because my angels said in 2021 that in 5 years there was going to be such a cataclysmic shift that Hollywood wasn't going to be able to recover. And here's the thing. I do believe that a sense of Hollywood will recover. I don't think that it's going to be rebuilt where it was before. I think it's going to spread out into like New York, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Washington State, Nevada. I really feel like the glitz and glamour of the Hollywood Boulevard it might be no more. We'll have to see what happens. So that's my little rant on that. And we've hit our 7 minute. I kind of went over a little bit of our 7 points. Hello. Oh, woo, woo, woo. Okay, so some stuff happened here. Here we go. Okay, so hello, Iskisha. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, please let me know. We're about to jump into another 25-minute sprint. So let me pull up the timer here. I went a little bit longer on that, but I gave a little quick verb about that at the beginning, but I wanted to reiterate what I was talking about at the beginning. I don't know if it came through clearly because I was so off energies when we started this stream. So 25 minutes on the clock. Ooh, excuse me. Come here. 25 minutes on the clock. That's not 25 minutes. So we're going to switch to here. We're going to do that. There we go. All right. And I will see you guys in 25 minutes in 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the end of that sprint. How did we do? Did we get anything done? Were we productive? I definitely was. I was able to get another 1.5 pages of notes completed. However, I love when I confuse myself by cutting off notes like halfway through completing them and then like adding to them and just, yeah, you know, a little bit of utter confusion on my own behalf. But I was able to get, 1.5 pages is the best way I can explain it because there is no word count. And even though these are shorthand, I end up typing in a lot more. For those of you who are interested, what I'm doing is I have been listening back to all of my past live streams starting in 2001, and I have been recapping them in shorthand. I found there's a lot of predictions that I made in 2001, 2002 that have been coming true, coming to fruition. I have several clients that said that were actually that subbed with me back then, and they said, you know, 2 of them actually referenced, well, you mentioned this in a past live stream like 3 years ago, and I turned tail according to it, and it saved my butt. So I thought it was interesting. And since we have the new exciting stuff that's coming in February, just a reminder, I have a huge, exciting announcement coming, something new, something fun. My current clients are going to be able to save a little bit of money. And for those of you that are interested in maybe discovering a little bit more about my psychic abilities, you'll be able to expand using that. I even was setting up a whole separate list because what I'm going to be launching is also going to have a story time series. And it's going to be an opportunity for me to share a lot of interesting stories about my personal self and everything else. So just goes along with the whole package of what we're going to be launching. So if you're not already liked and subscribed to my channel, please do so because we're going to be doing an embolic celebration on February 3rd with this giant announcement and the launch of our whole new channel. For those of you that are my replay crew and my return clients, I love you. Thank you so much for coming in and doing the YouTube things as well. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy to comment. I know that some of you have mentioned that you feel a little too shy to comment. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and comment. Say hi. Also, for any of you that are interested in subscribing, it is free. There's no cost to it. You can create a profile without any picture or anything else. And go from there. So to round off the last of this stream, I just wanted to show off something that was supposed to come for Christmas, and it finally came yesterday. And if you didn't know, my family likes doing family night where we play games. My parents both have a bi-weekly card game where 2 sets of different people come over and play cards. I don't get to play that much because work, life, you know. Anyway, I'm not retired yet, but this is one of the games that I got. And for those of you that are a little bit older like me, this probably looks a little bit familiar. However, this is just like the original Clue game, but it is expanded. So I'm going to show this off a little bit. I'm going to make myself some room here because this is not something I expected to do, but I remembered that it came and that I had it, and I was like, I wanted to show it off. So first of all, we have all the pieces. So we have, you know, the revolver, we have the wrench, we have the candlestick, and these are bigger pieces than I remember. The lead pipe, then we have the rope, and we have the dagger, and in addition to that, we now have poison. So an actual little bottle of poison. How cool is that? And a horseshoe. How cool is that? So we have 2 new murder instruments. Okay. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of that, but I'm not going to show that off yet because what I want to show you is, and let me pull them up here real quick because, so we have our normal characters, which are Mrs. White, Colonel Mustard, Professor Plum, Miss Scarlet, Mrs. Peacock, and Mr. Green, right? Well, now we have Sergeant Gray, Mr. Brunette, Miss Peach, and Madame Rose. So 4 new characters, super excited about that, you know. And then of course we have our confidential sleeve and our little handy book. But here's the coolest part, guys. And so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. Check that out. Let me see if I can hold this in a way. There we go. So there is some added rooms, as you can see, with the fountain and the garden and the carriage porch. So I'm super stoked. And the trophy room. There's so many new rooms to this, with the yard and the trophy room and the garden and the studio now. So I'm extremely excited to play this game with my family when we get the chance. We haven't gotten a chance to play yet, but I'm extremely excited because we used to play so often that it actually started getting a little repetitive. Like, you could almost, within a couple of moves, you could pretty much figure out who did what, where, and how, just by, you know, especially if you knew how your family played. So I am super eager because I didn't ever think that they would ever have like an extended clue. And it's called Master Detective. And this time, I don't remember them ever handing this last time, but this time they actually give you a little booklet, and it gives you like a little background on all the characters this time. It's a little hit of history. And what I also thought was really cool is they actually give you, where is it? Yeah, strategy hints to help you out a little bit, because I remember being young when I started playing this game, and I struggled with that. I didn't grasp the concept of the strategy quite yet. And I remember thinking to myself, there's got to be an easier or better way to play this. Like, why does everybody get the upper hand? And then eventually I learned strategy, but I thought it was cute that they actually offer a little bit of hints now with the strategy. So I just wanted to show that off because that was supposed to come for Christmas. This was part of my Christmas presents to my family. And it just arrived the other day. So the other day? Yesterday. Yesterday's the other day, right? Okay. Well, that is the end of our sprint for today. I have gone 2.5 hours. I think we're good to go. So just for anybody who is new and interested, just know that starting in February, I will be going back to streaming 2 days a week. We only switched it to 1 day a week this month because of the fact that we have so much planning to do in the background and catching up of work to do for the launch in February. For the replay crew, thank you for coming in. For anybody new, please like and subscribe. Remember to ring that bell and for notifications to know when I'm going live. I will be going live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Until the end of the month, and then it'll be Tuesday, Thursdays at 11 a.m. We're going to stick to that time. I was thinking of changing it, but from what I can see from everybody else, 11 a.m. just works, and we're going to stick with that. So I will see you guys next time. We're going to close this out with our normal cheers that I want to do. That was the box. Do not think that was me. Okay, so glasses up, and for our closing cheers, may your angels be strong, may your energies be positive, and may karma be ever in your favor. And you guys have a great night, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye. And see, the professional things. You press the button for it to end stream. Does it end the stream? No.